We now like to welcome to the stage the candidates that are running for the Clerk of Court of Patrick County. You guys can come on up. So this one I had to do some research for. I had a pretty good grasp on what the Board of Supervisors done, but I think a lot of people, this has kind of been in my mind, one of our premier elections this year, because as many of you know, this has been a position that's been filled for as long as I can remember. I don't remember anybody but Susan Gasparini being the Clerk of Court. So I think it's been at least 3 terms. So that office, the office of Clerk of Court, is an elected office that serves an 8-year term. So these people sitting in front of you now are seeking an office that is an 8-year term. The Clerk of the Circuit Court in Virginia performs multiple duties that in many states are divided among several government offices. The Code of Virginia lists over 800 responsibilities and duties for the clerk, many of which are legally sophisticated and complex. These responsibilities include, but are not limited to, public safety as a consultant to prosecutors and law enforcement officials, court services such as preparation of legal documents for the court and maintenance of court files, jury management, land records, probate and fiduciary for estates and wills, custodian of court cases, public services such as issuance of marriage license, concealed carry permits, and issuances of witness subpoenas. I think divorce too, so whether you're getting married or divorced, you got to come see these guys. Official record keeper of election ballots. I didn't know that one, but all these election ballots that we were talking about earlier, Susan was talking about earlier, that goes to the circuit court, clerk of court, excuse me. Custodian of historic records, which there's some very old historic records up here in the courthouse that they have custodianship over, and keeping of a law library for the public. That's also charged by the state that each county needs to keep a law library available for the public. That's under the circuit court responsibility. Clerks also serve as the office manager for the clerk's office. And as one attorney told me, the buck stops with them when you're dealing with any kind of legal documents, anything that's going through. They do a lot of stuff, probably a lot of things that I'm not mentioning, but that's a general overview of what this position is. So we're going to welcome each one of these candidates to the stage, and we're going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we're going to ask some questions, much like we just did with the supervisor. So the first candidate we're going to introduce is Mr. Rob Hyatt. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Rob Hyatt, candidate for Clerk of Court, and I would like to thank the Patrick County Young Professionals as well. You guys give me hope for those two sitting in the third row there. I'd like to see them working here one day. But I would like for y'all to know that I am a Patrick County native, born here in Stuart, Virginia. My parents are Miss Mabel Hyatt and the late Junior Hyatt, both of Patrick County. I have 4 siblings that live here in Patrick County. They're Joe Hyatt, Debbie Robinson, Tracy Hyatt, and John Hyatt. I attended Hardin Reynolds and Stewart Elementary Schools and graduated from Patrick County High School in 1991. I attended East Tennessee State University, working my way through school with jobs at Lowe's Foods and International Paper, or better known as Masonite, here in Stewart. At ETSU, I earned a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice with a minor in Political Science, which, by the way, I thought I would never use, but I guess it goes to show that no learning is wasted. I graduated college with academic honors in 1995 and returned to Patrick County to begin my career. Like so many young professionals, I found it difficult to find work here. I took a job with New Dominion School for Boys in Dillon, Virginia in 1996. Determined to stay in the county, I commuted to that job until I gained employment with the Anchor Commission, serving Patrick County, Henry County, and the city of Martinsville. That was in 1997. Then in 2000, I began my career with the Court Service Unit, serving Patrick County, Henry County, and the city of Martinsville. As soon as I had that job, I started working on my home. Construction of my home on family land on Hyatt Lane was completed in the summer of 2001. Through my work with the courts, I met my beautiful wife, Angela, and we were blessed with the joys of our lives, Noah and Ava, our children. My work with the courts continued as a probation officer. I earned a promotion to senior officer in 2003, supervisor in 2008, gaining needed experience with leading a team. In 2012, the opportunity presented for more professional growth and the ability to better serve or better provide for my family. So I accepted the court appointment to Director of Court Services for the 27th Judicial District. Again, determined to stay in my home here in Patrick County, I chose to commute daily to Pulaski, Virginia. I would like for you all to hear that I do not seek a title. I have a couple already, so the best one is Dad. But I do seek the opportunity to serve Patrick County. Thank you.
Thank you. So next up we have Sherry Hazelwood. If you'd like to give us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Sherry Hazelwood, and again, good evening. And first of all, I too would like to thank the Patrick County Young Professionals for sponsoring this inaugural event to help educate the citizens of Patrick County concerning the voting process, and also to introduce everyone to the candidates on the ballot for the upcoming election. And thank all of you for coming. It has truly been an awesome event so far. Again, my name is Sherry Hazelwood, and I am the most qualified candidate for the office of Clerk of Court, based on my nearly three decades of experience working in the clerk's office. When I say that to people sometimes, they sometimes look at me a little quizzically, and I am quick to say that yes, I was 12 when I started working in the clerk's office. I have been a bit surprised as I've been out speaking with people throughout this process, how many people truly don't know what we do in the clerk's office. Some days, though, it feels like the better question would be, what don't we do in the clerk's office? The clerk of the circuit court in Virginia, as Chris said, performs multiple duties in many states that are divided among several governmental offices. The Code of Virginia lists over 800 duties and responsibilities for the clerk, many of which are legally sophisticated and highly complex. As I look out over the audience, I see many of you that I've helped with different matters from time to time over the last 28 years. But until you've experienced the clerk's office on the level that I have, it's really hard to grasp what we do, what all we do. I believe that our greatest duty is service to the public in whatever capacity that entails. We are the custodian of records, including deeds and other land transactions, wills and probate, judgments, and court proceedings. Our records here in Patrick County date back to 1791. That was when our county was formed. Prior to that, we were one big county with Henry County. We were Patrick Henry County. So records prior to 1791, you'll find in Henry County. But we have records in our courthouse that date back to 1791, and I think that's very impressive, and I think it's an impressive duty for the Clerk of Court to care for those records. We assemble and maintain juries, both grand juries, which hear and consider indictments, and petty juries, which hear individual cases. And I want to make a point to you all right now, do not register to vote for fear of being called for jury service, because if you're a licensed driver, you're also in the pool to be called. So, and we get that a lot. People mistakenly think that if they register to vote, then they're going to be suddenly called for jury duty, but there are different pools that those names are called for. So please do not register to vote for that fear. We assess and collect criminal fines, cost, and restitution upon conviction of every defendant. We prepare court orders detailing each proceeding heard by the court and its outcome. We are responsible for providing this information to various state and local agencies, including the Department of Corrections, Probation and Parole, Virginia State Police, DMV, Dan River ASAP, and our local Sheriff's Department. We provide support to the judges in court proceedings by issuing subpoenas, capias for arrest, rules for show cause, and other judicial directives. We maintain a court docket and calendar for all active cases under the jurisdiction of the court, and are responsible for maintaining all court files, which include contract disputes, criminal cases, divorce proceedings, land disputes, adoptions, requests for name changes, and many other types of court cases. We process applications and issue concealed handgun permits and transmit statistical information regarding them to the Virginia State Police, the Supreme Court, and other state and local agencies. We are responsible for collecting the taxes and fees associated with the recording of deeds and probating of estates. We make legal appointments of executors and administrators of estates and prepare legal documents and orders related to the handling of the estate. We are also responsible for the appointment and qualification of guardians for minors and incapacitated adults. We accept passport applications on behalf of the U.S. Department of State and forward them to that agency for issuance. We actually do so much more, but I have a feeling that my 2 minutes are coming to an end. If you'd like to ask me more questions about it, I'll be happy to talk to you more about it. But as you can see, although I was actually 21 when I started working in the office, I'm very comfortable there. It's my second home. I know what to expect, I know what comes next, and I know how to plan, implement, and execute strategies to run the office with the best interests of the citizens of Patrick County at heart and in mind. I hope that you will consider me as your next Clerk of Court when you vote on November 7th.
Thank you. And last we have Teresa Hall Robertson.
Hi, I'm Teresa Robertson. I was born and raised in Patrick County, 1981 graduate of Patrick County High School. When I first graduated high school, I was tired of school. So, when you're young and dumb. So, I didn't go to college right off the bat. I ended up getting married and having 2 kids, the joy of my life. I did not start my college education until about 13 years after I graduated high school. I received my associate in applied science and administration of justice from Patrick Henry. Much later on, I got my bachelor's degree from Christopher Newport University, and later I received my master's of science degree in criminal justice. Over the course of my life, I'm the oldest of the 3, but over the course of my life, I have worn many hats. I've worked in an insurance office as a certified nursing assistant, as a cashier in a convenience store, a bartender, a cook, a server. I spent 17 years at the Enterprise, and the first 8 or 10 years there, I did all the typesetting for the paper. The last 10 years, I worked in sales and advertising. After I finished my degree, first degree at Patrick Henry, it kind of dawned on me, hey, I like criminal justice. I was always wondered how I went from journalism to criminal justice, but I decided I wanted to pursue that career. So I became employed as a deputy at the Patrick County Sheriff's Office in 1999. I was there for 8 years, and in 2007, I started work for the Department of Corrections. I've been employed as a probation and parole officer for the past 10 years. Having had all these different sorts of jobs over the course of my life, I also carry the mail part-time as well, but having all these jobs has really given me a good understanding of people. I think it's important to learn something every day, to never stop learning and growing. So I'm a person that tends to try something new every decade or so. I'm a sworn officer with the 21st Judicial District, serving Patrick County, Henry County, and Martinsville City Circuit Courts. I have a good working relationship with all the judges, Commonwealth's attorneys, and all the defense attorneys who work in the 21st Judicial District. I have experience working with state auditors in the past and have been a part of auditing other state agencies to help ensure compliance with agency policies, procedures, and directives. If deficits were found, I've helped to rewrite or correct those policies. I've also worked with numerous other agencies in the past couple of decades, including military surplus programs, the Virginia State Police, Social Services, Piedmont Community Services, and many other agencies. I'm also currently president of the Patrick County Farm Bureau, In that capacity, I supervise a small office staff, and I have experience developing annual budgets and policy planning. All totaled, I have over 3 decades of record collecting, record keeping, and case management experience. I'm proficient in using various computer softwares, including the Supreme Court mainframe, which I use on a daily basis at work, at one of my jobs. And I would very much like to serve as clerk of Patrick County. I think I'm very well qualified to do so, and I would appreciate your support.
All right, thank you. So that's our candidates. We're going to ask them a few questions. They're going to get about 1 minute to respond. Britt down here is kind of keeping the time, so if you guys don't know where you're at, she's going to hold up a sign that says you got 15 seconds. If you get, so a minute's a little longer than you think. This is not a debate. This is a forum that we can give these guys an opportunity to answer these questions about themselves and what they feel is the appropriate answer about themselves. So we ask them to keep it about themselves and move forward. So if you guys are ready, we did a round robin kind of drawing, so we're going to give everybody a chance to respond first, second, and last, and we're going to rotate on who answers the questions in that order. So since we drew first, our first question, we're going to start with Robert. Each of you come from a different background of personal experiences, work history, and life skills. Can you identify how your unique knowledge, skill set, and or experience qualifies you for the position of clerk? Mr. Hyatt, we're going to start with you.
Okay, sure. I believe that I am the most qualified for the office of clerk because I do not only have experience as a line officer or a case manager in the court, but also have the needed skills and experience as an administrator. Currently in my role as Director of Court Services, I'm responsible for one, human resource management, and that is employee recruitment and performance and training. Training is huge. So far in 2017, my staff have received 1,120 documented hours of training. Capital resource management is another responsibility. It's grants. I manage a state budget and 8 local budgets. In the 27th, we serve 8 wonderful localities. So I present a budget to each of those localities and have experience with presenting to their board of supervisors. I'm also responsible for state contracting and purchasing, accounting, maintaining suitable offices in all 8 localities. Worked on 9 community policy and management teams, those are CPMTs. I see I'm running out of time, so I'm going to speed up. Implementation of goals and objectives while complying with state regulations. I draft local state policy. I ensure compliance through routine audits. I've served on audit teams. I am responsible for the protection of confidential records while using an electronic database. And I'm also responsible for effective working relationships with the courts, numerous human resource agencies, and human service agencies rather, and at least 18 law enforcement agencies. Most importantly, I'm responsible for leadership and values. I'm responsible for modeling the way we conduct business, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the development of others, encouraging and enabling others to act. All these are necessary skills for the clerk to possess.
All right, and next up, Teresa, same question. Can you identify how your unique knowledge, skill set, and or experience qualifies you for this position of clerk?
A whole lot of what I said in my initial statement. I'm sounding like I repeat myself. But I do have some supervisory experience as far as supervising a small office staff. I have also done some grant writing. Wrote several grants at the sheriff's office when I was there, including the first grant they got for the school resource officer for Doug Perry. People remember him, I'm sure they do. I've also, as I mentioned earlier, worked with agencies for audits. In particular, at the Patrick County Sheriff's Office, I worked directly with Department of Corrections personnel to ensure that the standards of operations, policies, and procedures were being followed. Anytime they were not, they had to be corrected, so I have experience in rewriting policy or correcting policies. I guess that's about it. She says 15
That's
seconds.
right. That's right.
I'm going to listen to it.
All right, and finally, Sherry, can you identify how your unique knowledge, skill set, and or experience qualifies you for the position of clerk?
guess I've already answered that
Sure,
question.
you
with
can answer it again. It's okay.
But I guess I'll use this opportunity then to maybe highlight the ladies who work in the office with us or with me. I don't know if you all realize it or not, but you have a really empowered bunch of ladies working in the clerk's office, and I'd just like to recognize them and tell you a little bit about the teamwork that we share, and a little bit about what we've been through since we lost Mrs. Gasparini to her well-deserved retirement. First of all, there's Vicki Reese, who is the interim clerk and has done an awesome job. There is Carolyn Cobbler. I can't believe that 45 seconds went that fast. Wow. Carolyn Cobbler, who has been with us for 10 years. Margie Nowlin, who all of you may remember from the ASCS office. And our newest, Morgan Booth. She came on board when Susan retired. And together we have a combined 66 years of experience. And we all work well together, and so I guess I kind of come as a package deal, because if you elect me, we're all still going to be working in there together as a team the way we have been.
Okay, thank you. So for our next question, besides fulfilling the roles and duties that are set out for you by the laws of our state, can you tell us how you will work to better both the position of the Clerk of Court and the county in which you serve? And we're going to start with Teresa this time.
I'm sorry, I was daydreaming.
That's okay.
That's for me.
So besides fulfilling the roles and duties that are set forth you by the laws of our state, can you tell us how you will work to better both the position of Clerk of Court and the county in which you serve?
To better the office overall, there are some things that, if they're not currently being done, I would like to see be done. Change is inevitable in any organization or agency, just as it is in our personal lives. And I will always work to stay abreast on any trends that will allow for more efficiency. One of the things I'd like to see, and this may already be happening, I'm not sure, but I want to encourage cross-training. I want to make sure that everybody that works at the clerk's office knows each aspect of the job so that they're better able to help citizens, whether they call in or walk in off the street. I would also push for additional trainings for any staff that wants to better themselves so that they may grow professionally and help them be more productive in carrying out their duties. I also would like to have regular staff meetings because I believe that every employee in every organization has something to offer. And I want to give everyone the opportunity to have a say in how the office is ran. I plan to have a transparent office and an open door policy, be for the staff or for citizens in general. Like, as I said, there's always room for improvement, so I certainly want to be open to any suggestions that people may have. And there's one thing that I would like to offer that I'm not sure that I would be able to, but I'm kind of interested in possibly offering some additional hours of operation. I know myself personally in the past, I have wanted to go up and research some deeds and things like that. And, you know, if you're a person that works during the day, sometimes you really don't have time to do that. So one of the things I would like to see happen, if it's allowed, is to have at least a couple of days each month where we have extended hours in the evening for those that work who may need to come to the office for any reason and can't be there before 5. So those are a few things that I would like to see.
Okay. Just a reminder, please keep an eye on the grid. That's okay. That's okay. We're just trying to get everybody out of here on time. Thank you. And so, Sherry, next to you, besides fulfilling roles and duties that are set for you by the state, can you tell us how you're going to work to better both the position of clerk and the county?
I'd like to touch a little bit on what Teresa said about cross-training. It's very funny that you should bring that up because I think that's something that's very important for the office. It being a small office with only, right now, 3 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees, you know, it's very difficult with small staffing, and we're understaffed as it is. Our full-time positions are based on our population, and unfortunately, the population in Patrick County has not grown much over the years. It stayed steady. In fact, I guess has declined a little bit over the past couple of years, but that's what our staffing is based on, is population. And so we've kind of had to specialize in what we do. Vicki has always taken care of estates and probate. I've taken care of most of the criminal work, but we've actually started, and Rian was in court today when Carolyn and I were doing some cross-training. So I think that's very important. I think we need to cross-train so that, like Teresa said, we can offer the citizens the best service possible.
Okay, and Rob, what about you? How will you work for bettering the position of the Clerk of Court and the county?
Well, first, I will continue to do what a valuable lesson I've learned through this campaign. And I think I've kind of fallen out of touch with a lot of people in Patrick County. The last 10 years, I've worked outside the locality. But with this campaign, I've got to go on a door-knocking campaign since July, and I've visited with a lot of people. And I've got to have some really insightful and enlightening conversations. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to work with civic organizations. I hope to join more if I return to the county and have the time to devote. I'm going to listen to people. And of course the training, I already hit on that. I think training is huge. I'll never underestimate training. But I will focus on training for myself as well. You'll never hear me say I don't need training, because I do. I need it. I just completed last month. I just completed strategic leadership training in Richmond, leadership summits, and I'll continue to do things like that to evaluate myself, which I think will be most important. How can I improve myself and model that for others in the office?
Outstanding, thank you. All right, so our next question. We live in a world filled with ever-evolving technology. Are you interested in adopting new technology under your leadership? And if so, how will you incorporate technology or the adoption thereof within your tenure? We're going to start with Sherry on this one.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
Right now, we have a plat machine that is the most user-unfriendly computer I have ever experienced in our deed room, and so that would be one thing that I would like to focus on changing. Another thing is I would like to see about getting some more documents back scanned. Right now, our documents, our deeds are scanned only back until 1999. Indexing we have back to 1968. So yes, I would like to see about possibly doing that. Of course, we now, by state regulations, are a subscriber only internet access. So that, I don't know if that will change or not at some point, but the answer is yes, I'm very open to that.
All right, and next, Rob. Same question. In our ever-evolving technology, are you interested in adopting new technology? If so, how will you incorporate it?
Not only am I interested, but I've done it within my agency over the past 5 years. This week we will install the last of the laptops. What I've done is I've gotten all of our staff laptops, except for the clerical staff. But I've gotten them all laptops so that we can better serve the community, where we can go out and provide these resources in the communities, along with a hotspot or a MiFi. We'll provide those to the probation officers so that they can go out and, like I said, provide these resources to the kids and the families in the communities. We already use an electronic filing system. I will continue to do that. I believe one of the bigger challenges for the office will be scanning the criminal and civil case files and going paperless. So I will rely on my experience with what we've done in the 27th with that as a baseline. I will also solicit input from staff and from stakeholders to assess needs. And I'm talking about attorneys and such like that. And preferences. I will draft a procedure, of course cross-reference that with code and regulations, and then I will implement the procedure. But most importantly, I will routinely review that procedure and make amendments as necessary.
All right, and for Teresa, the same question. Are you interested in adopting new technology under leadership? And if so, how are you going to incorporate that technology?
It's funny, if my kids were sitting out in the audience, they'd be punching. She can't even use a cell phone. But I am very much interested in adopting technology. And that was actually one of the things that I had written down as far as challenges, was staying on top of all the technological advances, because at some point in time, most all records are going to be digitalized, and of course that's going to be funds and money to have to come in to get new equipment. But yes, I'm very much for electronic records. I know I can tell a story of when I worked at the jail, and before they built the new jail, we had an all-male facility, and I remember that one of the inmates up there stopped at the toilet, and unfortunately it flooded down into the clerk's office. I'm sure Sherry probably remembers that as well.
Yes.
But it was horrible. Some of the records 15 seconds, did get destroyed, I'm sure. But it's important to stay abreast with technology, and yes, I will implement technology in every way possible.
Thank you. So we're kind of running pretty quick on time, so I'm going to skip a question or two, and leave, because I think this is an important one. We're not going to skip this one. As clerk, you will be required to serve the general public. Through your elected position, how do you plan to interact with and engage the public in carrying out your duties as clerk of court? We're going to start with Teresa on that.
Well, I've been a public servant for the past 20 years, and I really enjoy working with the public. I plan on, as I think Roger said and Rob has said, one of the best ways to do that is to just go out and see people, attend events and county meetings, whether it's Crime Watch meetings or whatever type of meeting it may be. I don't know, I might even get real happy and have an appreciation day of some sort at the clerk's office, and have people come up and learn what we do and get them to offer suggestions as far as how we might improve our services to better serve them. But doing a lot of talking, that's how I'll stay on top of things and help the citizens of the county and help our office to better serve them.
We're getting the hang of this. So, Sherry, same question. You're going to be required to serve the general public through your elected position. How do you plan to interact with and engage the public?
Well, I kind of like to reiterate what Rob said about going out door to door and meeting with people. They do have, and I have heard, a lot of genuine concerns over the last few months being out visiting with people. And also what Crystal said about listening with your ears and voting with your heart for what's best for Patrick County. Just truly listening and responding, and not just letting it go in one ear and out the other, but truly giving consideration to what people's concerns are and responding to those concerns. There are things that we can do as far as the technology that will make people's lives better. Not just the attorneys and the title abstractors, but the general public. And we need to educate them when we implement the new technology so that they can feel comfortable in coming in and using the equipment that's available to them. But mainly, like you said, getting out, reaching people, listening to their concerns, and responding.
And Rob, the same question. You're going to be required to serve the general public through your elected position. How do you plan to interact with and engage the public that's elected you?
Well, I feel like I did partially answer that one a while ago, but I'll say it again. I will continue to talk to people, get out, interact with folks, and engage in these conversations that we've been doing or having since July. Will, of course, be visible and present in the office. I will not be in the back office or in upstairs in the courthouse. I will be seen in the public. I will assist folks with pulling deeds or whatever they may need. But that's how I'm going to learn, and that's how I'm going to hear, and that's how I'm going to assess And that's what I do now. I assess and then I try to meet those needs. And the best way to do that is just to be there with them. I'll continue to do that.
All right, we just got one more question for you guys. It's not as easy as it looks to be up here and answering these. So is there anything else you'd like to say to the public relating to your ability or your desire to serve as clerk of court? And Sherry, we're going to start with you.
Well, I think I've highlighted my abilities. This is what I've done for 28 years, and maybe not the job of clerk, but I've been in the office and done pretty much every job in there. I will say that I have not done probate from start to finish, and I would not be able to do probate from start to finish. That's one of those things that we need to cross-train on. But I have a true desire to serve Patrick County as your next clerk of court, and I feel that I'm more than qualified for the position based on my experience and my desire. And I hope that you will consider me when you go to vote.
And Rob, same question. Is there anything else you'd like to add or say to the public relating to your ability or desire to serve as clerk of court?
I think my role as court service unit director translates very nicely to the role of the clerk of the court. As I've stated earlier, I feel like my current duties closely match the duties of the clerk of the court. Again, I will always continue to learn. I will do everything within my power to be trained and to be the best that I could possibly be at the job. And you know, I think I stated it in my opening. I have a desire to serve Patrick County, and that's one thing I've been saying all along. Is I feel that I'm a qualified candidate with the commitment and the desire to serve Patrick County. There is no question my love for this county, and I do ask for your vote, and I would greatly appreciate it on November 7th. Thank you.
And Teresa, for you, is there anything else you'd like to say to the public relating to your ability or your desire to serve as clerk of court?
Well, I think I've highlighted several of my experiences and qualifications. I also have available tonight also some brochures, pamphlets, and also a website. If anybody would like to, I'll pick up some or check that website that says a little bit more than I've said here this evening. But based on my education and my life and job experiences and my desire as well to continue to serve the public and to serve as clerk of court, I would just ask for your support on November the 7th. I appreciate you all being here this evening.
Well, I would like to thank all three of you guys for sitting up here and answering these questions and for talking to the people that you're asking for their vote for. That is not an easy thing to do, to sit up here and get interrogated, especially by someone as ugly as I am. So I'm used to making a fool of myself on stage. I've been doing it a long time. So thank you guys so much again for coming up here and answering these questions. Please give a round of applause. Ron Wright, Sherry Lindsay, All right.